Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Steph, and today's video is all about sobriety. So this is something that I have spoken about online for the last 5 years, almost 5 years, and it's a topic that I am extremely passionate about. Within this video, I'm going to be sharing the main 5 benefits that I've felt throughout this sobriety journey, just for anyone who is on this path and maybe needs a little bit of reassurance. I know that the first year is often the hardest to really commit to this promise to yourself, and it can be extremely difficult, especially around the summertime. I feel like there's certain events throughout the year that can be a little bit more triggering than others in terms of maybe encouraging you to reach for that drink. So I'm going to just start with a really brief overview of my story prior to sharing my 5 benefits, and then we'll get into it. So I actually decided to abstain from alcohol when I was 23 years old, and the last alcoholic drink that I had on the 21st of June 2019. That is in about 3 weeks time, so I'm saying 5 years a little bit prematurely, but I did actually give up alcohol at the end of May and then had one last night of drinking on the 21st before I really decided that it was no longer for me. I had basically been drinking quite regularly. I never had an issue with alcohol in terms of a dependency with alcohol. I do think it's important to say that because my story may be different to yours. However, I was very much wrapped into binge drinking on a weekend, and I would have more than the recommended limit, a Thursday, a Friday and a Saturday, and I would feel like crap from the Sunday to maybe even the following Wednesday. So I was in this cycle of drinking on a weekend, feeling like rubbish, maybe having one day a week when I felt like myself, and then the cycle would repeat. So to break that cycle, I actually decided to give up alcohol for 3 weeks whilst I was away with my boyfriend, and I came back and felt incredible, and I wasn't sure if it was just because I'd been away and had these incredible experiences or because of the alcohol. So I did a little stint in London, then went away and had one last hurrah with alcohol, woke up the next morning and just decided it's not for me. So it's something that I decided to do 5 years ago, and I have not looked back because of the benefits that I'm about to share with you. I understand that it's extremely difficult. Peer pressure is extremely difficult. Our society, especially in the UK, is built around alcohol. Every celebration, condolence, whatever it might be, has alcohol at its core. I do think times are changing, and there's incredible statistics showcasing that even alcohol-free beverages have had a huge rise in sales in June. It's actually the best time of year for alcohol-free brands, which is really exciting because I think everyone would believe that it would be dry January, whereas showcasing that actually in the summertime people are drinking less is a really, really big positive. So I do have some other videos as well that I will link in the description box, kind of sharing tips on how to really commit to your sobriety journey and how to kind of sway away from peer pressure and things like that. But today is all about the benefits because I think it's really good to focus on the positives of sobriety. I think there's a lot of things that can be shared that are negative, and I really just want to hone in on all of the good things that I have gained from taking away this substance from my life. And I've just narrowed it down into 5 points. There are far more, but these are kind of my 5 core benefits that I would love to share with you today. This isn't in order of importance, but I've just kind of bullet point listed them. So if I look over here, it's because I've got notes. But improved finances. So when you drink alcohol, it actually affects your prefrontal cortex, which is the decision-making part of your brain. So things that seem like a terrible idea when you're sober probably feel like a really good idea when you're 4 or 5 drinks in. It's why when you go out for one drink, it's very hard to commit to one drink and you end up having 2, 3, 4, and suddenly you've had a binge drink evening, you're waking up on the Sunday morning with a kebab in your lap and you've fallen asleep into chicken nuggets. So for me, whenever I was on a night out, even if I had £10 in my bank account, I would believe that I was in charge of everyone's evening, making sure that they had a good time. I'd be getting in the shots. I'd be saying, let's go to another club. Let's see what restaurant is open at 2 o'clock in the morning to get some food, offer to pay for everyone, and then I'd get a taxi home. And it's not even just necessarily the cost of the drinks, it's everything that comes with that. The midnight kebabs, the taxis, the hungover food the next day, the missing things that you've booked the next day because you're too hungover. All of those things I now do not have as a result of not drinking. On a higher level, there is so much research coming out about alcohol and the effects that it has on our body, actually showcasing that there is no safe limit for us to consume, other than maybe the 0.3% in a kombucha, for example, because by the time you've metabolized it, no alcoholic content actually goes into your body or into your... So long term, there may be a financial reduction on things that require healthcare or further expenses to looking after your health. That is obviously a long term. Short term, you're going out less, you're paying for less drinks, you're paying for less things associated with drinking and all of those things. And I genuinely believe that I have saved over the last 5 years thousands of pounds from not drinking alcohol. I'm mostly on tap water because the bars and clubs don't yet have great alcoholic alternatives, and I'm barely spending anything. I usually drive somewhere, and most of these occasions take part after 6:30, so I can park on a single yellow line. I'm not paying for parking, and there's so many things that I have saved on and being able to invest in myself in other ways. My next point is improved relationships. I genuinely believe that the conversations and connections that I have with those around me are far stronger now than when I was drinking. And I lived in such fear that I would lose all of my friends and that people wouldn't invite me out anymore if I decided not to drink. That was one of my main reasons why I carried on drinking for maybe that extra time after I'd made the decision. It was purely for the sake of others. It wasn't down to me. If it was down to me, I would have quit in May and never gone back. But because of wanting to please others and not let other people down, I was letting that dictate how I treated my body, which I think is so bizarre, but I know that it's really common. And it wasn't until I really kind of zoomed out and looked down at the situation that I realised how weird that is. You drink for other people. Why? Are you a better friend when you're drunk? Probably not. If anything, I don't trust a drunk version of me because I made terrible decisions and terrible choices, which is a story time for another day. But I genuinely believe now the conversations that I have and the connection that I have with my core friends, just so much deeper than I've ever experienced. And I do believe that there were a few friends that maybe I drifted from and distanced myself from, but they were good time friends that I only really had alcohol in common with anyway. If I was in dire need of a friend, they're probably not who I would have called anyway. I think as you get older, your friendship circle gets smaller as a result of just growing, evolving, and you becoming more aware of your key ethos and wanting that to align with the people around you. But also, it's so hard to juggle friendships, right? We are all so busy. I feel like the hamster wheel of life is just getting faster. Actually now I have a smaller circle, but they are such core friends that I know if they need anything, I'll be there, and if I need anything, they'll be there in return. And that is so beautiful. And also, now, if I go out for dinner with friends, they maybe consciously drink a little bit less because it's not me egging them on to all drink more, or vice versa. And the conversations that we have are more pure. We speak about the deeper things rather than the surface level stuff. We don't repeat conversations because we're not drinking as much. If you are a sober person on a night out, you get to about 11 p.m. and people are just saying the same things on rotation and you don't learn anything new about them. Whereas when you are going out and you're not drinking, you ask deeper questions, you're more vulnerable. I feel like it's a safer space to share things, and I'm just very grateful for that. I also think that as a result, I have more emotional availability. Of course, when I drank, it would get to a stage where maybe I'd get a little bit teary and couldn't control my emotions, but I don't think that's real emotion. I know they say that drunk words are sober thoughts, but I do feel like I have a better understanding of my emotions as a result of being sober, and therefore I feel more in tune with those around me. So I can pick up these nuances of people's personalities that aren't usually there. Like I can really tell when my friends are down or when there's a sparkle missing behind their eyes. And I do think that recognising that then sparks, like I said, a deeper, more meaningful conversation that could be healing for both people involved or for the entire group involved. And I think that's really important to remember, that a lot of the time when you're drinking and there's the chaos of a night out, you miss out on these certain cues that show that maybe someone isn't okay. And it's so easy to mask those negative thought patterns and behaviours with alcohol because everyone makes a joke out of drinking all the time. And when you strip it back and you ask core questions or you allow space for people to share, you can see the cracks that they're probably trying to hide that maybe need healing as a result of friends and family. And I think that's really important. And also, like, my concept of danger when I was drinking, there's so many situations that I've been in that I would be terrified to be in sober, but when I was drunk it was like no big deal. And I think that's scary within itself, especially for young females. Any females, well, not even just young females, any females watching this, I do think it is quite terrifying, the situations that we can get ourselves in after a night of drinking. Whereas now, I'm not afraid of the world. I am fearful of certain things because of reading the news or past experiences or whatever, but I do feel like I can sense danger earlier on in my sober state of mind that I probably would have missed when I was drinking. And I'm really grateful for that because I got myself in some sticky situations when I was younger that I would not wish to be in now, let's just say. So the third point that I wanted to speak about was improved mental health and brain function. So a huge part of the reason why I quit alcohol was because of the anxiety that would come the next day. You know, that impending doom feeling. You wake up, maybe you've got blanks from the night before. I actually found out recently the reasons you have blanks in your memory after a night of drinking is because the way that alcohol affects the brain, it stops the short-term memories being transferred into the long-term memories, so you will never get those blanks back. It can also come with the fact, like, I used to love a Jaeger bomb and an espresso martini, and I'd wake up with a racing heartbeat that in itself is anxiety inducing. The mental health side of things have improved tenfold, and I can't say that all of my mental health issues were around drinking, but I found it easier to mask my mental health issues on nights out. I would just drink, not necessarily into oblivion. I very rarely got like paralytic or anything like that, but I found it easier to mask anything negative going on in my life because I was just a good time girl that would just be there for a party, dance on the dance floor, doing a few shots and then go home. But then it would just all hit me the following day, and like I said, that would then last for maybe a few days before I would then just start drinking again and the cycle would repeat. And I do see a huge reduction in my kind of anxiety and dips now that I'm not drinking, and I'm really grateful for that. And I do believe that also comes from being consistent. So with drinking, my consistency was nil. If it's 11 p.m. and I've had an amazing time and I can see everyone getting a little bit loose and leery and I don't want to be a part of that, I have the confidence to step away, get back to my bed, have a decent night's sleep and wake up the next morning fresh. Then I can make better choices because I'm not sleeping in until 12 p.m. I'm not then ordering greasy food. I'm not then wasting the day getting no daylight and doing all of the things that I know are negative on my mental health anyway. And that has been a huge benefit in terms of just consistency throughout, which has helped both my mental and physical health. I also have noticed a huge increase in my cognitive function. So in terms of my focus, my memory, my alertness. It's hard to explain to someone that hasn't done a stint of abstaining from alcohol. If you were to do a month or 2 months of not drinking a single drop, I just know for a fact that you would recognise this feeling of feeling alert, of feeling focused, of feeling all there without this brain fog. I just feel on it. I can't explain it. I just wake up and I know exactly where I am, exactly what I need to do. And of course, if I do have a late night, like I went out with the girls last weekend and we didn't get back till 3 or 4 a.m, I was just on the alcohol-free cocktails and had an amazing evening, but it was just amazing conversation that kept me going. Did have a coffee at 6 p.m, but that's besides the point. I feel like everyone needs advice and mine is caffeine. Anyway, the next day I did feel lethargic and not quite there due to a lack of sleep. And that's the feeling that I would say was consistent in the mornings after a night of drinking. Whereas now, like I said, I feel more consistent, that happens very rarely. So I do have that improved focus, memory, alertness, and everything that I need within my job as well, and that I want from my life. That's something that I think is really vital, is asking yourself the question, what do you want from your life and how are you going to achieve that, and what is stopping you from achieving that? And for me, it was alcohol. I do also believe that I have a more stable mood and an increased emotional resilience. By that I mean I'm still an emotional person. I allow myself to feel the depths of the spectrum of emotions. So I meet myself where I am. If I am sad, I allow myself to feel sad, to cry and to move through that emotion. If I am happy, I allow myself to laugh, feel joy, feel abundance and move through that emotion. I think I recognise that everything is fleeting and no moment is forever. So I allow myself to sit in that emotion as long as I don't live there. So if I am feeling down and negative and I'm in this cycle of detrimental thought patterns, I allow myself to be there for a time being, to recognise why I'm feeling that way. But like I said, I don't live there. And I think with alcohol, I would mask a lot of those negative feelings rather than processing them. And they would either come out after 5 to 7 drinks, or they were just never processed. Now, because I am more consistently alert, focused and in tune with my emotions, I can recognise when that fog comes back. My fourth point is improved physical health, and I genuinely believe this is down to the consistency that I mentioned before. So I know every morning, without fail, I have a sticker album over there. I get out for a 10-minute walk in the morning to get daylight, to get my body moving. Before I pick up my phone, before I have my cup of coffee, it boosts my circadian rhythm, which improves my sleep, it improves my focus, it improves my mental and physical health. If I was drinking, I wouldn't do that. I'd find every excuse whilst I'm hungover. Don't want to see the sunlight because it feels like I'm a vampire and my eyes are burning. Don't want to move my body because I'm feeling sorry for myself. And often I made poor choices as a result of drinking alcohol. Whereas now, I don't miss a 10-minute walk in the morning. Even if it's raining, I take an umbrella. And I feel like that then leads me to other positive choices, like making an effort to move my body daily, just being more consistent within my routine. As well as that, I'm a gut health girly. I'm so fascinated by gut microbiome and what we can do to improve our second brain. You can hold a lot of emotion in there. You actually hold a lot of your immune system in there. More and more studies are coming out about how alcohol affects our gut microbiome. I used to get sick quite regularly, whereas touch wood, I very, very rarely get sick now, and that is down to not drinking alcohol, making better choices, being more consistent with my choices, and that is a huge benefit because I want to show up for my friends. I don't want to be flaky because I'm sick. I don't want to be flaky with work. Like I said, the hamster wheel of life is moving so quickly, and if you don't look after yourself, your body will force you to have a break. This is a massive one for me. I had a lot of digestive issues where I would literally bloat as if I was a pigeon. I would bloat from my sternum and it would be so uncomfortable. Whereas now, ever since I stopped drinking, I bloat less. My digestion is so much better. I always knew when I'd had a lot of drinking and poor food choices because it would show up on my skin in the form of dryness or blemishes or acne and spots. And all of these physical benefits, I genuinely believe, are down to removing alcohol from my life. And then my final benefit is something that I think is extremely important, and that's improved sleep. I know that I cannot function in my life without a decent night's sleep. I'm an 8 to 9 hour a night girly, and I know I need that for focus and for motivation and consistency and for discipline. I know that when I've slept well, I get less distracted, I am a better friend, I'm a better colleague, I'm a better decision maker in every aspect of my life. I feel like I have less interruptions in my sleep and I fall into that kind of REM cycle a lot better. My sleep is deeper, it's more consistently good, and I feel like I can build a better routine. Like I'm usually in bed by 10:30, probably asleep by 11, then up by 7:30, and that is consistent throughout my week. And again, we're creatures of habit, we're creatures of routine, we move with the cycles of the sun and everything like that. And then now I wake up feeling more refreshed, revitalized, and like the sleep has actually worked. A third of our life we are asleep for, right? So why would we not want to prioritize that? I know how groggy I feel if I get even an hour less sleep because I've had a late night. Again, sleep can assist with our cognitive function, with our emotional well-being. It can help with our physical health, our immune function, our metabolic and our cardiovascular health. Adequate sleep then helps regulate things like your hormones that control your hunger, your metabolism. There's all of these things. I just think sleep is such a healer for our body, for our mind, whatever. Like, it's a huge benefit of not drinking alcohol. So I hope this video has been helpful. If you have any questions, like I said, I'm not an expert and I would be more than happy to answer any questions. If you would like another video like this where I maybe showcase tips on how to navigate friendships alcohol free, or I feel like I've had some beautiful conversations over the last 5 years and managed to learn so much from other people going through similar journeys to mine. I'm just in awe of anyone that decides to embark on this journey. So if you are going through a phase of being alcohol free, or it's something that you want to do full time, first of all, well done, and have the courage and confidence to stick to your guns. So I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, please give it a little like because it helps other people see this style of content. And like I said, if you have any questions at all, please leave me a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Additionally, I do speak about sobriety on my Instagram, which is linked below. So I think I've said everything that I wanted to. So thank you for your time. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will be back next Saturday with another video for you. Lots of love and good luck on your journey.